Now, the Reverend Mark Leach, the rector of the Darling Street Anglican Church, was actually at the rally on the 9th of October at Town Hall, and he joins me now along with Australian Jewish Association President David Adler. Welcome, gentlemen. Great to see you.
Thank you, Sharri.
Now, Mark, let's start with you. You were interviewed by police. What did you actually tell them about what unfolded that night? And we know the rally started at Town Hall and then went on to the Opera House.
So thank you for having me here. I, on the 9th of October, went down to Town Hall because I thought this protest was going to be full of hate-filled chants. I knew what was going to be said, and I also knew the blood hadn't yet dried on the ground in southern Israel. The IDF was still chasing terrorists around southern Israel. So I went down, I thought, as an Australian citizen, as an Anglican clergyman, thought someone needs to shine a light on what's going to be said here. Someone needs to stand up and say, no, in the centre of our city, when the police warned me not to go down, they said, no, we're telling the Jews not to come into the city. And they said to me, no, Mark, we advise you not to come down because we can't guarantee your safety. I thought, that's not Australian. That's not on. I've got a right to be there. I've got a right to be heard. So I went down. I stood on the steps of the cathedral and I listened to them chant, and I listened to the crowd get riled up. And they did the usual chants, from the river to the sea, which of course is a call for ethnic cleansing of Israel. And then a group of them started chanting, kill the Jews, kill the Jews. At that point, I took out my Israeli flag. I thought, I can't let this stand. I waved the flag. And then, Sharri, I got chased out of the cathedral, off the Anglican cathedral steps where I was standing, by a group of these people, with one of them running behind me, threatening to slit my throat as they chased me up Bathurst Street and onto George Street. At that point, I hid behind a police van and the police dispersed the mob. But I heard them, genocidal cries, cries of kill the Jews. I then went and made a statement to the police after this, on the advice of a lawyer. He said that there's clearly criminal behaviour there, threatening to kill you. I reported the fact that they'd said, kill the Jews. I've repeated it in public.
And that's clearly language that is an incitement to violence, kill the Jews, plus an actual threat to slit your throat.
Correct. And it was terrifying. So I ran, I hid. I've said it in every media interview I've done. The police came back to me, they investigated, I went in, made a statement, and they came back and said this didn't rise to the level of a criminal matter and they weren't going to proceed anymore with it, which I thought was a little peculiar.
More than peculiar, you know, I think this is incompetence that we're seeing from the police. David, you weren't there on the night. There was a witness who was there who took footage of the Gas the Jews chant, or what he and many others hear as Gas the Jews. The one individual that the police turned to for an opinion didn't hear that. Now, you distributed it on social media, or you posted it on social media, and it then went viral. This was October 9, the protest. You put it up, uploaded it on October 10. You never heard from police, even though it was clear that you first distributed it, and you had to chase the police up in late December.
This is an extraordinary aspect which has not yet been made public. We're making it public now for the first time. And that is that at no stage did New South Wales Police approach the Australian Jewish Association or me personally for the raw footage. And we heard that there was an investigation. And I thought for some time, what on earth are they investigating? And this went on for weeks. And so we thought, well, we are a law-abiding, responsible organisation. We will cooperate with the law enforcement authorities. And I had to do some work in order to find out how to get the raw video to the police.
Well, who was actually conducting the investigation?
Exactly.
In the police force?
We had a contact in the Eastern Suburbs Command, and I approached him and I said, can you find out for me who is actually conducting the investigation and give me contact details and a name? And it took until the 18th of December for us to have a direct contact with the a meeting with the New South Wales Police, and we gave them all the raw, unedited videos. So anyone who says that it was doctored, anyone who's been saying on social media
not.
that we didn't hand it over is spreading falsehoods.
Yeah. Mark, you were there that night. Yeah. This is, as you say, the blood was barely dry. The fighting was still underway. What do you think about the police and media organisations claiming some win for journalism because police couldn't prove that one particular anti-Semitic chant was said?
I think it's a terrible reflection of our divided society and the deep seeds of racism and anti-Semitism in segments of that society that have divided us. For me, it's extraordinary that we would celebrate some win that, all they said was, kill the Jews, F the Jews, where are the Jews? We know what happened when 3,000 jihadis invaded southern Israel looking for Jews. I know what it's like to have a bunch of that mob look for me on the streets of Sydney and threaten to kill me. I think it's a cliche, but I think it's deeply un-Australian and incredibly concerning that as a society we can't step back and have the moral clarity across the board from the Prime Minister down, policing, media, churches, mosques, to say this is appalling. It's just not who we are. Australia has a wonderful history of being a cohesive, inclusive society. And the only silver lining I can see out of October the 9th is that it has revealed the extent of this deep division and this ugly, racist seam of hatred. And we as Australians need to say no to that hatred.
Yeah. Look, we're out of time. Just very quickly, David, you also passed on to police a stat deck from another individual who was at the Upper House protest who did hear gas the Jews, and they never contacted that individual. Or they contacted him, but they never took his statement. They didn't interview him.
That's right. And this person is not Jewish. He's an ex-solicitor. He's someone who has had substantial experience with protest groups, and he has listed in his stat deck the chants that he heard, including gas the Jews.
I've read that today.
We're aware of about 5 such stat decks, as well as other witnesses who have not provided stat decks. And the really worrying thing is that we have seen, as Mark described, uncontrolled, ugly anti-Semitism, and there have been no consequences for the perpetrators. The fact that there is no consequences emboldens others to do more. So it's a bad situation.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, both, for your strength. Really appreciate you both, particularly you, Reverend, choosing to speak publicly about this. Thank you so much.
It's a great pleasure, and I'll just jump in quickly and say, out of this, we're inviting everybody to join us on Sunday, the 18th of February, 3 p.m. at the Domain, neveragainisnow.com.au. The Christian Church leading the way to unite Australians, wonderful. Jews, Iranians, anyone who wants to come along, come and stand against hatred. 3 p.m, February the 18th, neveragainisnow.com.au.
That is so wonderful. Thank you very much, Reverend. Thank you, David.